Some of the worst women online are not hard to find. You know the ones I'm talking about. And the interesting thing is that YouTube did not invent them and TikTok didn't invite them to join. They willingly stand in front of a phone and volunteer to snitch on themselves. They lie, they mock men, they brag about manipulating men, they show contempt for husbands and sometimes even their own children. And a lot of men are right to call it out and to stop pretending that none of it is affecting men in society. But here's a question that I don't see discussed enough. Once we see those women's videos in a reaction channel, now what? Does watching 50 more clips make you more prepared and knowledgeable about what to do with whatever information you just saw? Or does it just keep you emotionally tied to women who you say that you don't have any respect for? Because warnings we get from them on TikTok, those women, they can, of course, make a guy wake up. They can red pill a guy real quick. But that warning is not enough. So here's what prompted this. About a year ago, I made one of my first videos on this channel, and it was about a men's reaction content. And I recently went back and watched it again and read the comments. It's so bad. The content, the quality is so bad. But I said that too much of men's TikTok reaction videos turns into men watching women behave badly and getting angry about it, and then coming back tomorrow for another dose of the same thing. That was my point. Now, my core point is still the same, and I'm not walking it back, but I want to make this conversation more precise than I did a year ago. Because these channels are not all the same, and not all men are watching them are out there and doing that for the same reason. For some guys, some men watching reaction videos that bash TikTok women is the first time that their beliefs are confirmed and their experiences are validated. I get it. Whether it's divorce or losing access to their kids, being lied to and cheated on, maybe they're being told that their pain isn't real or that they themselves are causing it. And for some guys, it's finally understanding and seeing a pattern after being told that one doesn't exist. But it's supposed to be the beginning of that process. I don't think we should make it the whole process. Now, let me be very clear about my goal here. I'm not talking about every creator who discusses the disgusting antics of women regarding dating, feminism, or men's disadvantage. I'm not saying that men should stop calling out bad behavior. And I'm definitely not saying that women should be protected from criticism just because it makes them uncomfortable. Men should pay attention, and they should call out red flags. Because if we can't recognize manipulation and contempt, we're in trouble. The problem is content where the whole product is the same loop. Find a bad clip, react to it, get men angry, and repeat it again tomorrow. And that's when reactions are not helping to understand the underlying issue and what to do about it. The reaction is the goal. And after a while, the 100th video is not teaching guys anything more than the first 10 did. It's simply reinforcing a mood. I really do think that for a lot of guys, it reinforces their outrage and feelings that he's learning or doing something when he's really just watching somebody react. Now, let me acknowledge something obvious. To save a lot of you from needing to leave a hate comment, although they do help my channel, yes, sometimes I use clips. I have used TikTok clips in the openings of my videos, and I've made videos that expose women's very, very bad behaviors. And I'm not going to stop doing that. And I'm not going to pretend that there's no overlap between me doing that and guys who make entire videos and dedicate entire channels to it. There is some overlap. I understand. But from my position, the difference is not whether people show a clip. It's what happens after that. A clip can introduce an issue. It can show viewers real-life examples of what's going on, again, especially at that red-pilled moment. But it should be the evidence, not the entire case. My standard for this channel is that after using a clip to set up a topic, we talk about what it means. We talk about the research, the laws, the psychology, their policies, and the patterns. And most important, perhaps, what guys can actually do differently because they actually learned something. And I'll put that expectation on myself as well. If I'm ever just putting a woman's video on screen, getting you angry, and then sending you away with nothing but a reason to hate women or to resent them, then I'm doing the same thing. And please call me out on it if you ever notice that I'm doing that. Of course, there's nothing wrong with a man taking that red pill, as I mentioned, and finally understanding that women can lie, manipulate, and use their children as leverage, or that they will very willingly drain men after divorce until he feels like his life is no longer worth living. That happens. And for some guys, they don't realize it until they're in their 40s or 50s. Some guys learn it a lot quicker, right? So I do totally agree that men need to be aware of that, and they need to stop accepting behavior that's happening every day. But once he understands the risk, then he needs a plan. He needs better judgment, better standards, even legal and financial risk awareness before getting married or having kids. And the ability to identify it early with a willingness to walk away with confidence is very important. And that's the difference between awareness and agency. Awareness is what tells you that you can get hurt and how you might get hurt. Agency is your ability to act appropriately and to respond to it. And believe me, I've been there. I get it. I had no awareness, and even after I did get it, this was in my 30s at this point, I was still, even after getting awareness, several years away from having that agency. So I do understand from that aspect. A lot of men, they start it from a reasonable place, that they're hurt, they're confused. So finally they find somebody who says, dude, you're not crazy, and you're not alone. Let's watch these 10 crazy bitches online and talk about how bad they are. Now fine, that can be powerful, that can be useful, it can be helpful to a certain extent. It can be even necessary in those early stages. But unfortunately, some men never leave those early stages. The content that helped them wake up becomes the place where they stay parked emotionally. So every reaction that they watch becomes another example from women that they don't know and another hour of confirmation of what he already knows. Every stitch and sarcastic voiceover, every emotional reaction without subsequent knowledge gives more life to those women who make those videos and the guys who react to them. It also gives them your time, your focus, and your emotional energy, none of which any of them have earned. I guess my point here is that there's a difference between saying, oh, now I understand what my risks are. I understand what's going on out there, and what I need to be careful and aware of. There's a difference between that and being unable to stop rewatching the same stuff over and over. And I think that the best men's content should make him harder to fool and teach him how to react for his own best interest in survival. And that's why I think creators who have an audience of hurt and upset men have an opportunity, if not even an obligation, to do more than just find the next clip and talk about it for 13 seconds. Give men something that they can use. Explain the value of a principle and the importance of recognizing in real time when he's being disrespected or taken advantage of. Help guys understand a decision that they can make tomorrow to improve the direction of their lives. Yes, warn men that bad behavior does exist and expose all of the hypocrisy, but don't make outrage the final destination. And again, I get it. Men have reasons to be angry. I get angry a lot at what's happening to men, boys, fathers, and husbands. It happens to me frequently. And we do have to address all of those things, whether it's infidelity, marriage, family court, or false allegations. None of that should be denied. It should be called out. But the point of understanding reality is not to make your anger grow. It's to make you harder to manipulate, to be harder to derail and more capable of improvement and improving your direction. Where do you want to go in life? How are you going to make things better now? So my ask for you is to not confuse a steady stream of women's self-snitches with progress. Just because you understand and you agree with it doesn't mean that it's necessarily healthy. Again, please don't confuse being right about a woman's clip or your agreement with a reaction channel with working on yourself. As I said, a dose of women's disregard of men can be a wake-up call. Good. Those guys probably need it at that time because it's probably the first step toward having a better life, especially for those guys that are brand new into this being red-pilled or finally being awake and understanding what's going on. But it can't build the life that guys need after waking up. If you want more content like this that takes men's issues seriously and gives you something more useful than the next clip, check out one of these playlists up here and tell me in the comments, do reaction channels help men wake up? or do too many guys just get stuck out there? Cheers, y'all. I'll see you soon.